Hi everyone and welcome to episode 8 of the Talk is Cheap show. As you may already know, the Talk is Cheap show is a show that looks at matters relating to the world of football, mainly relating to Arsenal, although not exclusively so. I hope I said that right. But before we go any further, I just want to introduce my co-D, the legendary Big C in the house. What are you saying, man?
Oh, good, bro.
Everything good?
Yeah, good, man.
Nice one, man. Good,
Christmas
good.
vibes, you know?
Yeah, I hope you all like our Christmas arrangements, man, put together courtesy of our excellent cameraman, goes by the name of Brennan Paul.
Yo.
Big shout out to Brennan, man. So, okay, before we delve into all matters Arsenal, just want to touch on what we spoke about last week in terms of our poll numbers. We discussed last week, the main item we discussed last week was Nuno. If you thought Nuno Espirito Santo would make a good manager at Arsenal. And I've got the poll results in front of me. 70% of you, and we had a lot of numbers who contacted the show, so big up yourselves for that. Thanks for all your messages of support as well. We really appreciate that. As I always say, we're trying to make the show as interactive as we possibly can, so keep your messages coming. So yeah, 70% said that you would take Nuno as the next manager. What are you saying about that?
I've been calling him No Santos.
Wow, man. Wow. Okay. I guess you'll talk about that later on. But on a more serious note, before we end this segment of the show, I just want to send out very big, heartfelt condolences on behalf of all of us at AFTV, all Arsenal fans, football fans. No matter which team you support, you would have heard by now the news of Benik Afobe and his daughter. Tragic stuff. And we send him our heartfelt condolences.
100%.
I'm a man that's witnessed personal tragedy up very close in the last couple of years. So I know a little bit about what he's going through. So yeah, our heartfelt condolences to Benik on that. Former Arsenal player, great guy apparently. So wish him all the best and his family for the future. So this part of the show, the next segment of the show, looks at the previous 2 Arsenal games that we've had since the last show. So let's take it from the top. Curtis, it was eventful, man. Last week, Thursday, defeat at home to Eintracht Frankfurt. Had some very significant fallouts after that game, but you saw the game.
Yeah, unfortunately.
2-1 home defeat to Eintracht Frankfurt, a team who were lying third in the group that I'm reliably informed hadn't won in 7 games prior to turning up last week. They weren't even allowed to have their proper quota of fans there, although some of them sneaked in on the day. I'll let you take it away.
Do you know what? I had a free ticket for that game, and I said that was too expensive. Even a free ticket, because I had no interest in going to that game. And as you saw by the empty seats,
and that's big coming from you, because I know you're a massive.
I don't like not to go to the game, but I just had no motivation to go to that game. And
seems like you and about 40,000.
No one.
That ground looked seriously
it was empty, wasn't it?
empty,
It was
man.
Embarrassing, and I think once the seats are empty, that's when you do actually get action from the board. I think that's what got rid of Wenger, was empty seats, and ultimately got rid of Unai.
But the game itself.
You watched it.
You weren't at the game.
First half, Frankfurt looked all over the place. We should have finished them off. Willock had a great chance. Chambers, it should have been 2 or 3-0 game over, but as usual, Christmas, we're just giving away gifts in our defence every week. So,
and there was no Nicolas Pepe to come on and say
he can't get a game at the moment.
So of course, so we lost that one 2-1, and then we all know what happened the very next day, and we're going to touch on that after. So we won't delve too deep into that, other than to say that, let's face it, it was coming, wasn't it?
Yeah, a long time coming.
And as I said on the show last week, people, it's kind of like he got taken out of his misery when he got sacked. I mean, it had to happen, man. It was just getting ridiculous.
It should happen sooner.
So we had the sacking, and then of course the news of Freddie Ljungberg being appointed as the interim manager, which I think most people did welcome that step anyway, although we're going to talk later about a new manager in full. But so he was in charge of preparing the game for the Sunday visit to Norwich. Again, Curtis, take it away.
Again, A team that to me looked like a championship team. No disrespect to Norwich fans at all, but they didn't
I can hear that butt coming.
They didn't look like a team that any other big team would have struggled to have beat. And in the first half, I thought we had a lot of control of that game.
They did beat Man City.
They did beat Man City, but since that game, their form has really dipped. I mean, I think someone said Pukki hadn't scored in 6 or 7 games.
Well, that's when you knew he was going to score against Arsenal. As soon as you heard those stats, he hasn't scored in 6 games.
The first
I'm
shot
thinking to myself, you know what? That duck's going to get broken on.
Yeah. I mean, the performance was a little bit more encouraging, but at the end of the day, we're Arsenal Football Club. We should be beating an out of form Norwich if we've got aspirations of getting back to where we want to be. So but we'll talk more about the management and the team selection, because I'm not sure the team selection was great, to be fair.
So there you have it, people. 2 games, 2 poor performances really, and again it's not looking good, but hey. So moving on then, people, to the main topic of our discussion today, and we've labelled this part of the show the aftermath, i.e. what's going to happen now, what's next with this great football club, or what used to be known as this great football club called Arsenal. But yeah, I mean, so we had those 2 results. We had the Eintracht Frankfurt result, and as I said earlier in the show, that led to the removal of the manager and the instalment of Freddie as interim manager. But what do you make of the whole situation in terms of the sacking and where we go now?
I think, first of all, the sacking was probably a bit late. I think it should have happened sooner. But they were trying to be loyal to him, but I think it was a little bit blind loyalty. And I think the whole situation's been a bit of a mess. Because to me, as a board of a major football club, if you're planning on sacking your manager, you should have something lined up permanently, in my opinion. Because to bring Freddie in on a temporary basis, it's almost like a trial. You know what I mean? It's like signing a player and giving him a trial in the Premier League. Like, it's a little bit unprofessional, in my opinion. You see the Tottenham situation. I know we've touched on that before.
Yeah,
but
we did.
Poch went, they brought in a replacement straight away. They'd done their work in the background. And then Arsenal put out a statement saying our process now begins in search of a new manager. And I think, well, if you was considering getting rid of Emery, why did that search not start 2 or 3 weeks before? It's like they've sacked him and they're reacting and going, well, just give it Freddie until we figure out who we can get, which I don't think is great.
Can I just say, I think that was a bit of a vacuous statement by the club, and I'll tell you why. Because we now know that there was interest in Mourinho. Okay, so for them to say that the process begins now, it's slightly inaccurate, because we know it's emerged that they did tentatively discuss
Mourinho.
The Arsenal job with Mourinho. Okay, it never went anywhere special, and as we know, Tottenham jumped in, and the rest is history. But so that's not quite true anyway, is it?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah, in the statement, they're probably just saying that to cover their back, really. They don't want to make it look like they were seeking other managers. But yeah, I think Emery, it was a long time coming. I think even after Baku, there was a case for whether he should have continued another season. But I think he needed investment in the team, and they invested in the summer, and I think it's actually got worse. So,
I mean, it would appear that they finally lost patience.
Yeah.
In the results, and then there's the bad karma surrounding the place. And then, as we touched on earlier, though, you can't get away from the fact that these board members, they're businessmen. And once they saw those banks and banks of empty seats on Thursday, I'm pretty sure that would have hastened their decision. And then once the game was lost,
they had no other option.
Really. So, you know, none of us are surprised it happened. No one. No, I didn't meet a single Arsenal fan that didn't say that was the correct decision. Did you?
No, and I haven't heard anybody saying, "Oh, I'm gutted that he's gone" or anything. I think everyone feels like it was the right time for him to go.
I think it's only fair and proper, though, that we actually place on record that we were not personally against this man.
Never.
He seems like an all right guy, as we said before. He looked very intense. He looked passionate. I'm sure his heart was in the right place. I mean, you saw the statement that he
it seemed heartfelt.
that he put out after his sacking, and it was heartfelt.
Yeah.
And he's a genuine guy, but it just didn't work.
I'm sure the £6 million paycheck that helps as well, doing it with the statement.
Yeah,
You'll have a
can
nice
certainly
Christmas.
buy you a good script writer to write the statement out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, it had to happen,
Yeah,
people.
it did,
you know what I mean? It's kind of sad in a way, but it's the way the football business works, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's done now. So we're calling this section of the show the aftermath. What happens now? That's a big question that all the Arsenal fans are asking. Not just Arsenal fans, actually. Football fans all over the world. Even my girlfriend Valerie was saying to me, so what do you think they'll do now? So, Curtis, you're the man. You tell us where we go from here. I mean, let me just say before you do that, that Freddie's been appointed as interim, but there are a number of names emerging as favourites to take over the job. And the 5 that I've got down here that seem to be the main ones in the frame are Allegri, this is in alphabetical order, not my order. Allegri, Arteta, Nuno's still there, but we'll talk about that a bit later. Rodgers and Vieira, Brendan Rodgers or Patrick Vieira. So let's start at the top, Allegri. What are you saying?
Allegri, see, it's interesting because he's got a great CV. And everything says that we should go for him, really. But then you hear reports that apparently we interviewed him when Wenger left, and apparently they didn't really like his attitude. They said he was a bit arrogant. Apparently he asked for a lot of money to spend, which doesn't go hand in hand with Arsenal. And his lack of English is a worry as well, because I think that really hurt Emery in his case with communication, and some of the stories that are coming out now about, dancing around the changing room, shouting at Arsenal and so on. But
I mean, we're hearing some mad stuff.
That's another thing. But he has got the pedigree. It's whether he can come in and adjust to the Premier League. So I think he's definitely a candidate that we should consider. I'd
just like to pick you up on something that you said there, because it's quite interesting when you were saying that, and I heard that story too.
Yeah.
It was quite extensively covered in some of the press, where they were saying that some of the Arsenal board were apparently less than impressed with Allegri's persona or attitude towards his interview. And I said to you, didn't I, when we spoke about it, I said, I'd probably put that down to the fact that when you're much sought after, like someone like Allegri is, it's not so much an interview, is it? What's the phrase? I don't do auditions.
Yeah.
It's probably one of them for Allegri, isn't it? So he probably turned up, and his attitude is, look, I know I'm good enough for this job because you've sounded me out.
Yeah.
So it's much less a case of you tell me what you're going to do to allow me to do the job, rather than me can still convince you that I'm the man for the job, because you've quite clearly been seeking me out.
Yeah.
Do you think it could be a case of that?
Yeah, it could be, because he's turning up thinking, I've just walked out of Juventus, 2 Champions League finals, 5 Italian league titles. I don't need to come here and whip out a PowerPoint presentation like Emery.
I don't think Allegri got online and filled out an online application, did he? I'm pretty sure he was contacted by the club and said, look, we like you, we want you to manage, or we think you could be a potential manager for this club.
He's probably
We'd love to talk to you.
I'm interviewing you. You've got to convince me to take the job.
I've heard that expression before, I don't do auditions, and I'm pretty sure that's probably what his mindset was. So that might explain a bit of the so-called arrogance that we were led to believe.
And also, I would expect when Ollie probably eventually goes, I think United will look at Allegri as well.
Oh,
so
yeah, for
I
sure.
hope that's not a situation where we leave him and then United get him and he has a successful time there. So I think we need to look at that.
Yeah, we do. So you think Allegri is?
I would look at. He would be one of the ones I would consider, definitely.
Right. Okay, so that's Allegri. So moving on, staying with the A's, Arteta.
Well,
what are you saying?
This is quite simple for me. I don't want him.
I hear a diss coming. I hear a diss track coming, people.
I don't want this guy anywhere near the football club. Pep's water boy.
This used to be a captain of Arsenal, man.
Pep's cone fetcher.
Ouch.
I mean, as a player...
This man can be brutal sometimes.
As a player, I never liked him. I'll tell you why. Because Fabregas was one of my favourite midfielders at Arsenal, and we sold Fabregas and replaced him with Arteta, which for me was that's like selling a Lamborghini and buying a Vauxhall Corsa. That was a big downgrade.
Wow.
And for me,
you're not a fan.
I'm not a fan. He was no legend as a player, and
mind you, you don't have to be a great player to be.
No, you don't, definitely. But I just don't see what makes him a candidate. Like you Pep Guardiola's assistant manager. You've never managed. There's nothing to say he's going to be a good manager.
Pep swears by him, apparently.
Yeah, but
it's a brethren thing. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's a friend. What's his mate to get a job, don't it?
Yeah.
But being Pep's assistant to me does not qualify you to get the Arsenal job. You should have to earn the Arsenal job.
True. But you know what I heard about Arteta, and this is no BS.
Yeah.
I've read it quite a few different places, and I've heard people say it, is that apparently, in terms of him being a coach, coaching players, he's very good.
Yeah.
And he puts on apparently some really good and interesting training sessions at Man City, which is probably why he's been linked with the club. And I do think as well that, am I right in saying that he was pretty close to getting a job prior to Emery being appointed?
It was,
in his interview, apparently he did impress.
Yeah.
So,
it's all about the interview process, isn't it?
Unlike Allegri, who didn't impress, apparently, allegedly. Arteta apparently did.
It wouldn't surprise me if Arteta got the job, because for me that's kind of where the board are at. I think we've got a weak board, and I think they would look at Arteta and think we could control him. He'll be happy to be here. He wouldn't want a lot of money. It would be right up their street. So it wouldn't surprise me if he got the job, but I wouldn't personally go for him.
Yeah, I don't think I would either, but I can, like you said, I can understand why several of the Arsenal board might be looking at a guy like this, because let's face it, he doesn't come across as a particularly confrontational guy anyway. No. It would be his first job in management, so I don't think he's really going to be too demanding of the board, really, is he?
No.
And so I think that for the board, that kind of dynamic works for them, which is one of the reasons, in my opinion, I'm sure you agree, that was one of the reasons that in the end why Wenger stayed at the club so long, because
he ticked the
they were in concert, him and the board were in concert together.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need that creative tension.
Yeah. To make
of
it
a manager that knows what he wants, who's not prepared to fall out with the board in order to get what he wants. But if you got a man that you feel you can control, or is easier to control, it makes life as a board member better. But anyway, we'll see how that unfolds. So that's Arteta. Nuno, we spoke about this last week, but there's been a development, and maybe you can tell the people.
I think he's basically said he wants to stay at Wolves now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, and that's all gone quiet on the Arsenal link. So
it has, because in the immediate hours of the sacking, he emerged as the favourite.
Yeah.
And then it was interesting that towards the end of that weekend of the sacking, his odds had come.
He said he wants to stay. I think he thinks he owes Mendes and them guys a bit of loyalty. So
Loyalty?
I don't mind. I've been calling him
in football. The two don't go together.
They don't go together. No Santo for me. Anyway.
No, but you weren't saying that last week.
No, it was Robbie gave a good argument, but when I really thought about it, I thought,
Robbie was really trying to convince us, wasn't he?
Yeah, so, but no, I don't think he's the right man.
Interesting. Maybe Robbie went in because he's black. I don't know, man.
What do you think about Nuno?
You know what? I probably would take him.
Would you?
Yeah, I probably would.
Desperation, maybe. Innit?
But I wouldn't say he'd be my number one choice.
No.
But I wouldn't be totally averse to him getting a job, because listen, he looks very competent. What I do like about Nuno, he has a certain presence about him. He looks like a no-nonsense type of guy.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel that that's one of the qualities that the next Arsenal manager's got to have. He's got to be a strong man.
Yeah.
In terms of the way he deals with the players and the whole Arsenal manager situation. He's got to exude a persona of somebody that is in control of what he's doing. And when I look at Nuno, his body language seems right to me.
Yeah. So maybe
he's got a big beard thing going on.
Yeah.
He looks like a man you wouldn't really want to rant with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I wouldn't rule him out. That's for sure. But like you said, it's probably not going to happen right now. Right, moving on then. Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah.
He's emerging now as the...
And he's flirting.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I mean, would he leave mid-season?
I think it'll be hard to get him. I think if we offered him a big contract, it would tempt him. He seems like he's interested. Um,
Because he's been fluttering his eyelids
yeah,
a
a
little
lot.
bit. hasn't
He doesn't seem to want to close the door. He's leaving it
he's
like,
still-
you know,
I mean,
if
I
they
saw
want
an
to make
interview
it.
recently where he was talking about, what was the words he used? Get out clauses, and
Yeah,
it's not,
yeah.
you know, I don't determine these types of things. And
He wanted to make it public that if you pay enough money, you can get me out
that
of
was
it
the vibe
type
I
of
was
thing.
getting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Leicester fans ain't going to thank me for that, but
No.
he seemed to be sort of showing a bit of cleavage
Yeah.
to Arsenal and saying, look, you know, hey, you know what I mean?
I mean, that would be my number one choice now, Rodgers.
Yeah.
Previously, it would have been Jose, but now
We've still
it
got
would
one
be-
more left, man.
No, it
Let
would
me
be
run
Rodgers.
this one
Go
by
on,
you,
run
and then
this
you
one
make your
by-
number
go
one
on.
shot. Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
A few of the ex-players, David Seaman in particular, been waxing lyrical about Patrick Vieira as a man manager, because he is managing in France and doing a decent job as well. He's got managerial experience. Out and out legend of the club, absolute legend. He would definitely get time by the fans. And I, you know, I'm a big admirer of Patrick Vieira, as I'm sure you are. And a few of the ex-players have said that they'd like to see Vieira get the job.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that one?
I think if we gave him the job, it'd be more what he did as a player. I think in management, he hasn't done anything really major that would make me think, give him the Arsenal job.
But then did Guardiola do before he took over
the thing
at
with
Barcelona?
Guardiola, he walked into a team full of great players. You walking into a team with prime Messi in it, you have not got to be a great manager to win things in that team.
Yeah.
Vieira's walking into a mess at the moment.
But yeah.
I loved him as a player, but as a manager right now, I wouldn't be looking at Vieira, to be honest.
No,
No.
okay. Again, he's one that I wouldn't rule out. Maybe it's because I'm a bit of a fanboy of Patrick Vieira. But so let's just go down these again briefly. So we had Allegri, Arteta, Nuno, Rodgers, and Vieira. So out of those five, who would you say is your standout?
Yeah, I would go for Brendan Rodgers, and because I think, you know, his coaching qualities, his understanding of the league. If we didn't get him out of them, I'd probably go for Allegri. And obviously Poch is another one who's not on that list. But
Yeah, I didn't put Poch on the list because he apparently has ruled himself out in the last few days.
Yeah.
You know, I know. I'm actually, maybe we should talk a little bit about Poch. What do you think of that? Do you think that's going to happen?
I was never in favour of Poch. I just think he's ingrained in Tottenham's DNA. I don't really want him.
Too difficult to achieve.
Yeah, no, I didn't want him here, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that would work. I mean, listen, the guy is clearly a quality manager. And he, you know, if he took over at Arsenal, that would be, I'm sure it would work for a while, but I think ultimately there's so many elements that might go wrong for him. And plus, personally, I don't think he'll take the job.
No, I don't.
So, okay, people, so we had a list of five that I prepared beforehand. Curtis has very firmly come down in favour of Brendan Rodgers, and his second choice
Who would
is
you go for?
Allegri. You know what, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I would go with Rodgers. I mean, listen, let me tell you a little story. Last year, before Emery got the job, I was touting Brendan Rodgers, and certain people that work for this organisation, I'm not going to reveal who they are, they were kind of laughing at me. And now those same people are saying Brendan Rodgers. So I'll let you work out who that was. But anyway, yeah, man, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Rodgers, Allegri, Rodgers, yeah.
One of those.
Any one of those two for me.
Yeah.
So, guys, let us know what you think. Who would you like out of those five? Would you like Rodgers, Allegri? Maybe there's another name out there. Maybe there's a name that we haven't spoken about here that you guys feel would be the next big thing. So, for example, there's
Rafa Benitez.
Rafa Benitez. We did speak about him. There's a guy in Argentina that manages River Plate. Gallardo. A lot of people are talking about him, but let us know. Send us your thoughts on what you think should happen next. Thank you very much. For the next segment of the show is our regular segment. It's called Ops of the Week. For those who are not familiar with the term Ops, it's just short for opposition. So it's a street term for opposition. Ops of the Week. So there's two games coming up in quite quick succession. The Brighton game at home to Brighton. Let's pull up some receipts on Brighton in their last 5 games. 1-2, draw none and lost 3, but they've lost their last 3. Even though they lost their last 3, there's some creditable performances in there, including the game at the weekend where they ran Liverpool close. So another massive game for Arsenal, massive game for Freddie. What are you saying, Curtis?
It's a must-win, and I hope Freddie plays on the front foot. I really think that Pepe needs to come into the team for this game.
Yeah, him not playing at the weekend, that really worried me.
I'm not a fan of that, and the excuse he used of not training well, I don't like that either. You know, some players are not great trainers. I'm more interested in what you do on a match day. So I didn't like that.
You was telling me the story about Hazard, weren't you?
Yeah, John Obi Mikel said Hazard was the worst trainer and the laziest trainer. He just did the bare minimum in training, but on a match day, turns into a different animal.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of footballers are like that. So I hope Freddie brings him back in, and he needs to break up that Mustafi-Luiz partnership straight away as well.
And on the Pepe thing, I mean, let's be honest, people. If that had been Emery that hadn't selected Pepe in the squad, you would, like us, have been showing some major concerns about that. So when Freddie does stuff like that, that kind of worries me a little bit. Sacco coming on as well.
Yeah,
when he did.
Maybe Freddie's not ready. You know?
Well, we don't want to. Listen, man, we want to be positive and encouraging, but that first game, and there was a few little things, man, that didn't really please me. But hey,
do you know
so
what?
anyway, so what do you reckon, man?
I think we'll win.
Game,
I think we'll win.
We say this every week, though.
No, but you know what? I've got genuine belief that the fans will be lifted. Freddie's first home game.
That's crucial.
Do you know what I mean? I think the crowd, I think it'll be a sellout. I think they'll all be back. And I think
it'll be more than 20,000.
It'll be more than 20, maybe 25. No, I think we'll win 2-0. I'm actually quite confident.
You don't think we'll concede a goal?
I think we'll keep a clean sheet. As long as Mustafi's not there.
defensive record.
No, I'm going to back.
No, but he'll play Mustafi now, innit?
Surely not.
I reckon he will.
He was swimming around the pitch yesterday. He got nutmegged about 5 times.
Wow.
So...
But he's got a major decision to make, Socrates or Mustafi. But.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so...
What's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm with you, but I reckon we'll concede.
Yeah.
But I reckon we win by 2 goals, so I'm going 3-1.
3-1.
You know, let's hope
it
works out. And then the next game coming up after that is West Ham. West Ham. We normally do quite well against West Ham, but it's an away game, so, and our away record is woeful, as you know.
Yeah.
The receipts on West Ham, their last 5 games, they haven't won.
What?
Actually, they have won, haven't they? Yeah. What am I talking about? They beat Chelsea.
Yeah.
And that was very impressive. Actually, it was the last 5 games previous to before that.
They hadn't won.
Yeah. So, and their manager, there was a lot of talk of him being dismissed. Some people were saying that he might go before Emery, but that wasn't right, was it? So before that, 1-0, drawn 4, lost 1. They won on against Chelsea. But what's your take on that?
I mean, before that game, you would have said West Ham away. This is a good chance for us to win away from home. But the fact they've just beaten Chelsea away, which is a great result for them, they're going to have a lot of belief going into that game.
Will.
And I don't think we've got a great record at their ground either. No.
And I'll tell you one thing as well. Now that they've got Mikel Antonio back, he's playing well, and his physicality and the way he plays will definitely cause us problems up top.
Yeah, it'll rough us up, man.
He will. There's no doubt.
I'm not confident going to that game, but you never. If we beat Brighton in a good manner, then maybe I'll have more confidence. It depends what happens on Thursday and what team Freddie picks. At this stage, I'll probably say 1-1 at West Ham.
Yeah.
1-1. I'm not confident we'll go there and win.
I'm always very uncomfortable not to predict a victory, but if I'm being realistic, you know what? I think if we get a draw, I'd be happy with that. Wouldn't you?
At the moment,
we would.
We're the draw specialists at the moment. But
so people, that's what we think. Let us know what you think, man. So you're going...
I'm going 1-1 at West Ham.
1-1, and I'm agreeing with you on that, and we'll see what happens. So, guys, we come to the end of the show. It's been a great show. Hope you like it. Thanks for all the messages you've been sending us. Thanks also for the constructive criticism we've been getting as well. We're trying to put that into operation. So, thank you very much. Keep that coming. Let us know what you think about our thoughts on the managerial situation, who you would like to see come in, or maybe you'd like to see Freddie retain the job. Let us know. What do you think of the way the Arsenal board are handling things at the moment? Let us know. Keep it coming, man. We appreciate it. And that only leaves time for me to say, Respect to my
All the
man,
best,
Big
bro.
C in the house.
Yeah, man.
Tell the people where they can find you,
Yeah,
man.
check out my channel, Curtis Shaw TV. It's getting better, man. Getting there.
Okay, so until next time, see you later. Respect.